Victor Davis Hanson is one of my thinkers. He put out this video about how far the left has encroached into all our institutions and how it's destroying America. Welcome to Doug in Exile. I'm Doug TenNapel. You found the Doug TenNapel channel. Victor Davis Hanson is one of my biggest influences for well over going on 23 years now. Listen to this. I don't have to tell you because you're going to love this.
This revolution that we are in the midst of is holistic.
So first he's talking about, he's the first to call it a revolution. It's like the French Revolution that we're in. And how far exactly has it gone in encroaching in our lives?
It's not a political revolution like 1776. It's more like the French Revolution of 1789, or I think really close to Mao's second revolution, the Cultural Revolution.
That's when they put the paper dunce caps on people. So it's not so much political, it's cultural. And then our politics reflect that culture. But upstream from it is culture above the politics. And now we're voting on stuff. It's way downstream.
By that, I mean it's holistic. It's not about politics. It's not about Trump and conservatives versus Biden and Democrats. It's not about whether you want to spend this amount of money or that amount of money. It's more than that. It's that, but it's more than that. It spans every aspect of our being. And I mean that literally.
And that's why America is in such a cultural divide and why November 6th, half of America is going to be pretty upset because it reaches so far into each of our lives, including our religion now.
Nobody listening to this right now, if I had said 10 years ago, mark my words, I'm a prophet, 10 years from now, there will be 3 sexes. And if you, listener, dare say that there are only 2, you're going to be ostracized and fired from your job. Nobody would believe it.
And that's me on that stuff. I'm an artist. And in all my other industries, I can't work because they'd be crazy to hire me given the backlash they would get from the left.
If I said 10 years ago, we're going to ban cooktops that run on natural gas heaters, and we're going to ban V8 engines very quickly because we have to transition by forcing the middle class to take a big hit on green energy.
And that's the biggest one to me is the environment. Environmentalism has been mainstreamed into our laws because they believe they're saving people's lives. And of course, it's costing us a lot.
If I said to you professors, if you professors get up in class and you say that you want the border closed, or you believe that biological men should not compete in female sports, or if you say the case has not been made that government has the ability without catastrophic results in a cost of benefit analysis to address climate change, you're going to lose your job.
This one specifically is for college professors. I'm showing this graphic real quick of the professors that are Democrats. This is how they institutionalize their ideas. Those little red slice are the Republicans. You can't work if you're pro-Trump an institution like that because they believe that you're a danger to society.
If I said there's going 10 years ago, there's going to be a riot. It's not going to be like the Watts riots or the Rodney King riots or the riots that followed Martin Luther King. There's going to be 120 days. There's going to be $2 billion in damage. They're going to torch a federal courthouse, a police precinct, a historic church in Lafayette Square. They're going to try to get to the White House, and nobody's going to pay a price for that.
And not only that, but they're going to make a really big deal about January 6th. I'm not going to minimize what happened at January 6th, but we on the right go, we just saw you give a complete pass to BLM, including they didn't have to wear masks. So it's a strange, almost abuse to when you think that they have to follow the same rules. They obviously don't have to follow any rules. And then we will lose our job if we don't follow their rules.
If I said the FBI 10 years ago, if I said the FBI will be caught hiring Twitter to suppress news so they can warp the 2020 election, nobody would believe me. If I said 10 years ago, hey, just watch this upcoming 2016 election, the 2020 and the 2024 election, the FBI and the DOJ are going to warp. In 2016, they're going to concoct this lie that Donald Trump urinated on prostitutes because he was mad at Obama, who stayed in the same hotel room, and he wanted it known that he did that to the sheets and that he was working for Vladimir Putin. And that will be a complete lie, and we will doctor FISA affidavits if we have to. We will hire foreign nationals to work on the Clinton campaign if we have to. We will do anything we have to.
That foreign national that the Clinton campaign hired wrote the Steele dossier that had that Trump story in it that we mentioned earlier.
If I said in 2020, a candidate for president's son who's committed several felonies, many of which in action and in medias rebus are on the computer, and to stop that from being known, the FBI is going to take it, hide it for a year, and then tell Twitter not to put any news out other than it's a Russian disinformation ploy. It's not authentic, even though nobody would believe it.
Well, and everyone, even they tell me still, but Adam Schiff still repeats that lie. My liberal friends still tell me about the laptop being created by Russia whole cloth. Now, is that misinformation? I believe it's totally misinformation.
If I were to say 10 years ago, they're going to indict an ex-president of the United States for taking out documents that there was a dispute over, or for overvaluing his real estate in New York, or for having Stormy Daniels sign a non-disclosure that he probably had some tawdry relationship with, or that he made a phone call to the Attorney General in Georgia complaining that he thought that the voting wasn't going right, and looking and directing him or asking him to go look for things, which the Attorney General refused. And he was going to be tried, not impeached again because he's out of office, but tried, and looking at 500 likely indictment. Nobody would believe it.
And that's just 4 or 5 of his lawsuits. The other one that he didn't mention is E. Carroll, where they changed the law for the statute of limitations to allow this one case to go through so they could dig it up from the ancient past and bilk him for another $85 million.
So what I'm getting at is whether we look at sex, whether we look at the law, whether we look at the destruction of law, shoplifting, whether we look at the border, whether we look at these weaponized agencies, it's every aspect of our life.
So this is starting to become an existential crisis for both sides because, to a liberal, there's 3 genders or more. And they're going like, people, are killing themselves if you don't allow them to do that. They believe life is on the line. And we're saying like, you can't do this to women's sports. You can't take kids away to do these surgeries. And so on our side, we're going, you're affecting our families. You're affecting our schools. You're affecting our day-to-day life. This isn't just political. This one is personal. This is documenting the great liberal versus conservative or left versus right divide in America.
If I had said 10 years ago, hey, did you see a rerun the other night of Kill a Mockingbird? Oh yeah, I love that movie. Gregory Peck, it was so great. Did you know it was racist? No, you don't understand. It was a courageous movie talking about the evils of race. No. It was white supremacy, white paternalism, and we're going to ban that book. Are you insane? And you know what we're not going to ban? We're not going to have graphic novels in K through 8 libraries. We're not going to ban that because we need to discuss the normative toxic family model.
He's a little off there. He calls them graphic novels, but a graphic novel is just a comic book. He means graphic novels that actually depict things that some of us don't want our kids to be exposed to in a public library at a certain age. And the left demands that they be allowed, or they say that you're a book banner, even though they banned To Kill a Mockingbird.
And there's certain people who are that you wouldn't think. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Bill Maher, but man, he's saying it like it is.
And that's why we covered Bill Maher, because he's someone who I really, I admire because he's a liberal. He's fighting them. People on his own side are trying to take him down. They will take him down. You can't have free speech and you can't do and have that freedom. It's not, I don't see what curtails them because they're only gaining power. And that's the divide in America. That's why this election's important. Trump is just a tourniquet. He's not going to save America. He's going to put a tourniquet on it to keep us from bleeding out and dying. The real way that you're going to save America is by standing with your patriot friends, starting small communities, go to church and repent. I'm Doug in exile. We got to save America.